Get that damn smile off your face, Joe. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am very sad to report that Ashlee Jenae's fiance or former fiance has been freed and cleared by Tanzanian police. He has been given back his passport.
Hey cousins, I cannot stop thinking about this poor young woman, Ashlee Jenae, who went to Tanzania with her alleged fiance Joe, who he claimed she unalived herself. We all know that girl didn't unalive herself; he unalived her. He's an unaliver; he unalived her, and he's been free to return to the United States. Ever since her unaliving, I just have been thinking about how we are now living in a society where women choose, because this is a choice, to try to prove on social media what you have. I have the Chanel bag, the Louis bag, the red bottoms. I'm going to Aruba. My man is taking me to Aruba, and it's this constant desire to prove to strangers what you have or what you're doing. This idea of luxury lifestyle, which there's nothing wrong with luxury if you can afford it. And then stuff happened to you, child. Your family got to do a GoFundMe to bury you. Or something happened to you and your family have to do a GoFundMe. And we see that today with a lot of influencers who TikTok is not TikToking like it used to TikTok, or social media or Instagram or YouTube is not paying like they used to do. And then now they're on social media begging. And I'm like, but you was making $25,000. Do you know what I can do with $25,000 a month? I don't even have to get it if you give me an extra $25,000, I could flip it. But we're living in this time where young women are putting themselves in compromising positions to have things that you cannot afford to buy yourself. And you know what the Bible warns us about? This is what Apostle Paul say, in whatever state you are, to be content. Be content in the state you are. But no, people are not content to work a regular 9 to 5, live a 9 to 5 life, drive a 9 to 5 car, live in a 9 to 5 house, shop at a 9 to 5 store, Burlington, Target clearance, Marshall clearance, Walmart. You can't go to the Dollar Tree and buy some shades for now. The Dollar Tree is the 150 tree for $1.50. No, you need to go buy some $450 shades so you can show off on people. People laugh at me with my Dollar Tree, my Dollar Tree shades, and I'm like, they're cute. I like beautiful colors, and for me, it's blocking the sun out of my eye. It's not a fashion statement for me. And now you have all these people on social media crying about, oh, I'm broke. Things are so expensive. My car is $1,000 a month. And while I do feel sorry for some people, especially for the older generation, baby boomers and Gen X crying about they can't retire and all this stuff. But when you look at social media, it's this keeping up with the Jones, this lifestyle. Also, that you can make people think you have something you don't have, but you're broke. No savings, no investment. Most Americans cannot afford a $1,000 emergency. As a matter of fact, I think they dropped it down to $400. Credit cards are through the roof. People are living on their credit card. And yes, I understand inflation is high. We're living in very hard times. But I'm talking about people who are trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to live a life that you can't afford by yourself. And it just breaks my heart because there's a lot of young women putting their lives at risk to be with men who, because they want those things. They want the clothes, the bags, the cars, the jewelry, and then you're putting yourself in these positions where you could possibly be unalived or abused or something. And sure, um, for me and what I teach over here is comfort. Are you comfortable? You need a car to be comfortable. You don't need to have $1,000 car payment a month. You need clothes to be comfortable. You don't need $250 jeans. You know, you go to Burlington and buy some jeans for $9.99 on the clearance rack. You living in the hood and your little boy is walking around with $300 Jordans, but he can't even read. You don't even buy him no books to read. He goes to bad schools. But he got $350 Jordans on. It's just really, it's crazy to me. And at the same time, it is so sad for so many young women putting their life at risk where you want those things you cannot afford. It's not enough for you to live a comfortable life because you're living your life for other people. You're buying those $400 sunglasses so other people can think you have money. You're buying those $10,000 purse, but you don't even have $10 to put in the bag. And you know what the Lord was showing me? It's pride. It's pride. It's pride to want people to think you have more than you have, or you want to show off to people. Those influencers who, oh, I make this much money, are now on TikTok begging because they're living in $25,000 a month apartments. Why? Why you need to live in $25,000 apartment when you're just an everyday regular person making TikTok money, and now TikTok is not paying like it used to pay and you're begging for money? I think it is so embarrassing. It's pride. You don't have $25,000 to live in expensive apartment. You don't have money to waste on $10,000 purses when you don't have an emergency fund, you don't have retirement, you don't have health insurance, and you can't bury yourself. If you die, your family have to do a GoFundMe to bury you. It's pride. It's greed, ladies. You're greedy. You are greedy. You're putting your life at risk for money, for greed, for bags and sneakers and trips. You want those purses so you can show off. I kid you not. People laugh at me at my job. I go to Burlington, I buy me a purse for $24.99. I don't even want to pay $24.99 on it. If it don't have a yellow or a red sticker on it, I don't buy it. The only person who I buy stuff for that's not on sale is Lil Michael, because boys stuff, they're rarely on sale. Boys stuff is expensive. And then you have children, and those kids, you're raising those kids the same way. Because I have nieces, and you have 10-year-old girls asking for a Chanel bag. What do you know about a Chanel bag at 10 years old? You should still be playing with Barbies. Huh? You're 10 asking for a Chanel. Oh, Auntie Janice, I want a Chanel for my birthday. And I'm like, girl, I can't even spell Chanel. And you can't read. Gen Z can't read, but Gen Z know the Chanel, they know the Louis, they Ulta, No, I go to the Dollar Tree and buy my lip gloss for $1.25. And so the Gen X's and the millennials are raising their kids to be just like them, to have name brand stuff so you can show off to people. It is pride. Pride. And these kids cannot read. The teachers are saying they can't read. No, take that money and get them some tutoring. My little boy, he is good at math, and we get him tutoring just to help him, to encourage him, because he is so good. You won't pay for tutoring for your kids, but you'll go buy them a Chanel purse and they can't read. It's pride. It is pride. And Gen X, for those of you who, I'm a Gen X, I'm 77, born 77. If you have little children, you still have time to turn it around. My little boy, he's 11. He don't know Jordans. Little Michael don't know Jordans. You know what he know? He's 11 and he still wear light up sneakers, $24.99 at Target. Or we go to Burlington, and Burlington, you know, they have stuff affordable. $29.99. He don't know Jordans, but I guarantee you he has Jordans college fund. When it's time for him to go to college, he will not be one of these little black kids or kids running around having to get in student loan debt because mama didn't save and mama didn't plan ahead. But you spend all this money buying Jordans. Why does a child need to wear $250 jeans and you live in the ghetto in the hood and your kids go to bad school? It is so confusing to me. It is poverty mentality, and it's ghetto mentality. Instead of moving to a better neighborhood, shop clearance at Burlington and Marshall clearance and Target clearance and Walmart, and move your kids to a better neighborhood so your kids could go to better schools. You stay in the ghetto broke down hood with the bad schools, but your kids go into school wearing $1,000 and they can't read. And the teachers are complaining. And y'all wasting money buying crap to keep up with the Joneses, show off to people, and your kids can't read and can't do math. Can't do math. My husband paid $90. $90 is how much we pay our math tutor, because little Michael is so good at math, and we want to encourage him, and we want to get him as much help so he can grow in his love for math. Don't use the money to try to show off. Use the money to educate your children. Save for an emergency. Put money away in college fund for them. If you have a special needs kid, I have a special needs daughter, put money away for her. Have an emergency fund. So if God forbid you get laid off, your husband laid off, you have money to afford your families. And yes, I know we're living in hard financial times, and I know inflation is high. So because of that, if you're making $100,000 a year in your household, you can't live $100,000 lifestyle. You have to live a $50,000 lifestyle. Do you know I still live a $50,000 lifestyle? My lifestyle is still based on my income I had 20 years ago. It never budged. And you know what I'm doing with that extra money? Saving it for generational wealth, creating generational wealth, saving money for my kids to go to college, having an emergency fund. So God forbid anything happened to my husband's job or to me, we're not going to be on social media crying, talking about we don't got no money. We have to get pride out of our lives. The need to get on social media and show off your Chanel, your Louis, your brand new car, and then next week you're crying how things are so expensive and you're broke. And I'm watching some of these videos, and then they say, "Oh, I can't afford it. My car payment is $1,000 a month." And I'm like, why do you need $1,000 a month car? You need a car. You don't need $1,000 a month car. But you know why? You have $1,000 because it's the need to show off. It's pride, y'all. It is pride. You want people to think you have something you do not have. And I'm not saying you can't share, right? Oh, for my birthday, like for my 10th year anniversary, my husband got me a ruby ring. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this over excessive need to be on social media every day, shopping haul at Louis, shopping haul at Chanel, $25,000 a month apartment. Why? You're 21, you're 22, 23. Why do you need to be living in a $25,000 a month apartment? And now you're on social media crying that you can't pay your rent. Of course you can't pay your rent. It's $25,000 a month. So for my young ladies, my nieces, because I am 48, I can be your nieces, your auntie, and your mama. I have a 32-year-old. Lex is going to be 32 in August. Please listen to cousin, sister, auntie Janice. Please listen to me. I am not telling you something I don't know. I had a baby at 16. I was homeless. I was sleeping on people's floor. I had to give up my baby for 3 months because I had nowhere to live. And I figure at least she'll have somewhere to live. But I eventually, it probably wasn't a full 3 months. I went back and got her because I just couldn't live without my baby. Then she stopped walking. Her hair started falling out because they had her in a high chair every day. Finished high school, graduated as valedictorian, went to Essex County College because they had, why I went to Essex County? I graduated as valedictorian. But I went to Essex County College because they had a daycare. And I figured Lexi could go to the daycare, preschool, and I could do my classes. And Lexi was special needs. And 32 years ago, special needs education was called early intervention, and it was only half day. And thank God for the bus company. God showed me favor with them. They would drop Lexi off to Essex because they're supposed to pick you up from your home and drop you off at the home. Well, I'm at school. And they would drop Lexi off at Essex County College, 11:30, 12 o'clock. They would leave the school. And God would show me favor. Sun, rain, sleet, hurricane, snow. I would stand out there until the van dropped Lexi off. I would walk her to the class. They saved her lunch, give her lunch, put her to sleep. And then after my classes and my work study, I would go get Lexi, and we would get on the 31 bus and go home. Then I graduated, went to Rutgers, and I did the same thing. Lexi was in full-time school at that time. I took the bus. My whole time at Essex County and Rutgers, I took the bus. I would get on the bus. I could only take one bus, and I would take the bus my whole time at Essex and Rutgers. And you know what my friends that I went to school did? They took out all that student loan money to buy cars they can't afford, apartments they can't afford. And now 30 years later, they are still on social media crying about student loan debt relief. I know somebody who's in $200,000 worth of student loan debt. Why? Greed, pride. So you could drive around in a car you can't afford and a apartment you can't afford. You know what I did? I took the bus. I would go to Penn Station every month, and I would get my bus card. It was $40 at that time. Then it went up to 42. I would take the 31 bus from my whole my time in Rutgers. I think I did 5 years or 5.5 or something. At Rutgers in Essex, I took the bus. You know what they did? They laughed at me. But I took the bus, and I did not get a car until I graduated Rutgers and had a job. And I didn't go get a brand new car. My father bought me, my first car was $1,500, and I drove that until hit and run. You know, them white kids coming up here from down South Jersey buying drugs, hit my car, run. Total was $1,500. My father sent me another money, $3,000 to buy a car. My coworker dad had a car sales place and bought a car for $3,000. And I drove that car my whole time working at my job. And my uncle said, Jan, you need a new car. This car is no good. And I said, Uncle Mac, I'm going to drive it till it fall apart. And sure enough, that car fell apart. I drove the car until it fell apart, y'all. I came down Market Street, turning Washington, and stuff started falling up. People had to get out their car and help me pick up stuff. Called my uncle crying. He came. He said, okay, Jam, come get the car. Went to the job crying about the car. And Mika, she said, girl, stop crying and get on Craigslist and buy you a car. Got on Craigslist. I said, you know what? I'm not going to call my daddy to buy me a car. I had money, savings at the credit union. They would take the credit union money out. They would take the pension out, my 457, and savings to go to the credit union. I say, you know what? I'm going to buy my own car. I have money. And I found me a nice little old white lady in Union County. She was selling a car. I think it was for 35. I think she was selling for 35 or 3,000. Me and my Uncle Matt went to look at it. He liked the color of the car. And she said, you know, you're a young lady. You could have the car for 25. Went to the credit union, got me a check for $2,500. I got my car. I drove that car until I met my husband. Never went to take out a car. I just buy a car that you could pay for cash. All you need is liability insurance, so you don't have a car payment, and you take that money and you save that money, invest that money. And at the same time, I was also paying off my student loans and saving to buy my home. Don't allow pride to get you to try to impress people to get you in debt because you want to show off. It is so sad. It is so sad. There's so many young women losing their lives because of pride and greed and living a lifestyle that you cannot afford, that you can't pay for. It is sad. My heart breaks for this young woman. I have been thinking about her, and the Lord said, young women, we are living in pride. Well, y'all, not me. Because me, I don't care what people think about me. Yeah, I go to Burlington, $9.99, girl. I go right to the clearance section. Yeah, I know exactly where the clearance section is. Go right over there. Because my clothes is because it's clean, it's cute, and colorful. That's for me. It's not to impress people. So to my young ladies and older ladies too, if you feel like you have pride in your life, you're living a life you cannot afford, trying to impress people you don't know, who don't know you, who probably don't like you, you need to kneel down and go to God in prayer. And of course, that's not the only thing. There are other things that can be prideful, because the Lord showed me something in my own life about pride and something I wanted to share. And the Holy Spirit said, do not share that. Don't share it. So let's listen to the rest of this video, and it's really sad. And this unaliver got away with it. He's getting away with it. He gonna get away with it.
However, this was announced by shady ass TMZ. Let me explain to you the real details. The TMZ article is filled with manipulation and trying to make Joe sound like the victim. Exhibit A, despite online rumors, Joe was never arrested or locked up, and Edwards, Joe's lawyer, tells us Joe stayed cooperative with the investigation the whole time. Give me a break. Here's the only thing that matters, people. authorities haven't said publicly if Joe has been officially cleared by authorities in the investigation. There's still an ongoing investigation, and they just couldn't hold Joe anymore. Kind of like what was going on with David and Celeste. He was not arrested right away, but we all know where David is right now. And then you'll see right here, they jump right back into the manipulation. But clearly, Joe is not under intense suspicion if they let him leave. Again, look what just happened to David. He was walking the streets for months. And now that we know that there was wiretaps and further investigation, the same thing that is going to happen to Joe McCain. Here's more manipulation. Early local reports claim cops initially believed Ashlee passed away by self-unaliving herself and haven't publicly changed that position, though Ashlee's family has said they find her passing suspicious. Yes, they haven't changed it because there's an ongoing investigation, but TMZ and Joe and his people would like to manipulate us to try to remind us what they think Ashlee did when we know and her family knows the truth.
Right.
And here you can see Joe and his team have already paid for bots in the comment section. After a month-long investigation, it's time to accept the case at face value. So give me a break, yo. Who's Mr. Blonde? Laugh now, but you're going to be crying later, Joe. Trust me, there is a lot more going on with this story. We know exactly where Joe is. We know exactly Joe's next movements. But more importantly, we know what Ashlee's parents have in store for Mr. Joe McCain. I just got done recording. Make sure you check it out. Link in bio.
Shout out to him. I have to find his thing and give him an order. So hopefully we get justice for Ashlee. But young ladies, please, 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 please. I did a mentoring session, and she said, one of the young ladies said she wanted a millionaire. I said, why? Why does he have to be a millionaire? Let's see what she has to say.
So I have a quick update on the Ashlee Jenae status. And so this is basically about Joe McCain. So as of today, we know, which people did report last week, Joe McCain was issued his passport back, and he is back in the United States. So Joe McCain has returned back after the Tanzanian authorities cleared him to travel, confirming he was treated as a witness and not a suspect in the death of Ashlee Jenae Robinson. So no criminal charges have been filed against Joe McCain. So on May 10th, Joe McCain's attorney confirmed his return, and the attorney issued a statement noting that McCain is relieved to be home where he can finally grieve, and express gratitude to the State's Department and Zanzibar authorities. So this is a statement, and it reads, Joe is relieved to be home where he can finally grieve for Ashlee, the love of his life. We also wish to express our deepest gratitude to the authorities in Zanzibar and the dedicated men and women in the State's Department for their professionalism during this ordeal. We'll have more to say at an appropriate time in the very near future. So this was a statement from his attorney, basically what he's trying to say, that Zanzibar basically cleared him, treated him like not a suspect. And it's just crazy that no one else was over there to defend or investigate what actually happened to Ashlee Jenae. It's basically his word against everybody's, his word against her parents, his word against whoever, because she's not here to speak, and no one else was there to witness what happened except for the people in that country. So the Tanzanian police are still reporting that her cause of unaliving is the suicide. Now, the case still remains open because it's stating that the Tanzanian officials have kept the final official autopsy results private while the case remains open. Now, just because he was able to leave Tanzania doesn't mean that they've closed the case. Apparently, that's what I'm reading from the information. So what the family has done as of now, as far as with the independent autopsy, after successfully petitioning the U.S. State Department, who obviously got involved to help repatriate her remains to New Jersey. The family commissioned an independent private autopsy in the United States, and the results of the secondary examination remain pending. So we're still waiting on the autopsy that she got when they brought her back home. And as far as her missing belongings and footage, Robinson's remains were returned without her personal effects, including her new engagement ring. Her father, Harry Robinson, believes Tanzanian police are holding the items as evidence. The family is currently fighting to obtain security surveillance footage from
He
the
probably took the ring back.
Zanzibar resort to verify who entered Robinson's villa, if that's actually what happened. Because remember, Joe stated that, what happened, they had the argument, they were separated. When he went back to the room, she was, in a state, this TikTok. But the investigation is still ongoing, you guys. It's just the fact that he's been cleared. And the other thing is just, again, I know it's hard, but I'm not judging her family, but I just would have needed to go to Zanzibar. I just would have needed to go. And I really felt bad for them. And I wish I was in a financial position. I would have sent them there. I mean, I'm just talking. Let me stop, because people on here be tripping. But anyways, that's just what is in like the back of my head every time I read over the information. Like, why weren't they able to go out there? But hey, this is where we're at with it. We're going to stay up as the updates come, and the next thing we'll just be waiting for, what did the actual independent autopsy bring back. Okay, so let me know what you guys think. So I have a quick update.
It's really sad. It's really sad. It is really sad. Ladies, let me explain something to you. There are wolves out here. There are unalivers out here. Women want unalivers not to unalive. It's like liars lie, cheaters cheat, unalivers unalive people, abusers abuse. So what we have to do, ladies, is stop putting ourselves in these positions and thinking that they won't act upon who they are. You understand? Y'all are putting yourselves you're getting with an abuser and expect him not to abuse you. But that is who he is. I keep telling y'all that. That is who he is. He's an abuser. So he can only do who he is. Liars lie, cheaters cheat, abusers abuse. Lovers love, providers provide. Virtuous woman, be virtuous woman. Hoes, hoe. I mean, I don't know how other ways. Hashtag ho ho, okay? That's how I know who listened to the end. Hashtag hoes, 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 ho. Okay? Hoes. H-O-E-S, ho. H-O-E. I love y'all. I'm up early, little child. I'm early up today. Beautiful sunny day here in New Jersey. I've been thinking about this Ashlee girl. I've just been thinking about her and just thinking about how many young women put themselves in these positions where your life is at risk because you want a purse. You want a purse. But you know what? We have to teach your children. That's what we have to do. We have to teach your children, right? Little Michael already knows how to save, how to go to a bank, how to open a CD, and he knows about emergency fund. He has an emergency fund. Little Michael, when he goes to school, he has his regular money that he can buy because, summer, the ice cream people, they come or they have little stuff at the school. He has money he can buy, and then he has an emergency fund, additional emergency money in his book bag. He already knows, okay, wait a minute. Okay, mommy, I only have 100. He'll say, mommy, I have $80. What can I do to make $20 so I could have $100. And he'll come. He said, Mommy, I need to do some chores because I need money. So yesterday he was like, Mommy, I need $12 to buy this art set on Amazon. And he said, what can I do for $12, Mommy? And I said, okay, well, I have this basket of towels you can fold. And he folded the basket of towels for $12. And I paid him, and he went on Amazon, and he ordered his little art thing that he wanted. Because I told him, Michael, you already have so much art stuff. I'm not buying you anything else until you use them all up. So anything extra he needs to buy, he has to buy it out of his money. It's already in him, the same way it was in me from the time I was 3 and 4. My grandmother's teaching me how to save my money and how not to spend all my money. So if you're a young woman and you have that in you're selling your cookie for a pocketbook, girl. Oh, I got to go, child. I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how y'all let these niggas be all up on you in your kitty cat because you want to walk around. And what about those girls that go to Dubai to get pooped on? Girl, there is no way. Anyways, I love you all. Thank you for your love and support. Show me love and support. My books are available at Amazon. Thank you. I love you. Let me know what you think about this. Okay. I love you. Talk to you later. Bye.